My name is Sarah, and I'm with Queen's Eye Glassworks. Today, I'm going to show you how I make one of my very most popular items on my Etsy store. It's my blue octopus earrings. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with this super dark cobalt blue. It's one of my personal favorites just because it's so intense. Alright, let's do it. Go ahead and turn my torch on. Propane first, then oxygen. Strike the right balance. Go a little high. One thing that happens pretty quickly is that you get used to the sound that your torch generally makes. The different speeds, pressures that the propane and the oxygen are coming out at dictates kind of the heat and the amount of pressure that come out of it. So when we're looking for instance, we're going to doing pretty small work, so we want it to be relatively low. The very first thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be stretching out this glass. So this cobalt that I have here is about a 6 millimeter. And if you watched my tools video, you know that I work with 4 main sizes of glass. I worked with 4, 6, 8, and 10. And while 6 is a generally pretty good size to work with, the earrings are very small. So one of the first things that I tend to do when I'm starting a color pair of earrings is I go through and I just stretch out a good section of glass so that I have plenty to work with, and I don't have to stop what I'm doing in order to stretch more out. You just go in, heat really well, get it almost white hot, and stretch it. And you want to do this as evenly as possible. It's kind of like cooking or baking, where the more even your material is, the more evenly it'll work. You know, you don't want to be trying to guess, like, okay, well, I've got a really thick piece here, so I'm going to work it for extra long, or I've got a very thin piece here, so I have to do this very quickly. It puts too much of a strain. So we just go through, and basically stretching it till it's a little thinner than a 4. And that way, I have enough glass to work with, that I can still stretch it when I'm doing the legs, but it's not so thick that it takes forever. Alright, I think we have a pretty good stretch here. So I'm going to let this cool a little bit more. Alright. I'm going to take the blue off of the clear that I used as a handle. I pretty much just grabbed whatever was right there. Okay. Let me make sure my oven's on. It is. Alright, now it's on. Excellent. It's always really sad when you like finish a piece and you turn around to like put your piece in the oven and you realize it's not on. Okay, so now that we have our piece of glass stretched out into a usable thickness, what we're going to do is we're just going to roll back the first part, just going to make the head. I'm going to make it kind of egg-shaped, where it's ovular. I'm not really sure what the word is. And we go in, and we just roll and roll and roll back. I don't remember, so it was, the very first piece that I did style was a rose, and then a dragon, and then an elephant. I think it might have been octopus after that. Love making octopus. There's just something so freeing and dainty, but strong and intelligent. I like watching like animal documentaries at night, like after dinner or whatever. You know, and you like sit down and like just veg on the couch while you're digesting your supper. I really like watching animal documentaries. Whenever we watch like an ocean episode, watching the octopus. I mean, generally, like the rest of us, I sit there when we watch TV and we're really just playing on our phones and kind of watching TV. But let me tell you, I watch those the octopus parts. Okay, so I have my head. Yay! All right, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make the skirt. The piece around the head that we put the legs on. Alright. I'm just going in and stretching it out. Kind of laying the groundwork. Alright. So I have my skirt. Yay. I'm going to go in now with my needle nose pliers. And I'm going to heat the skirt up really, really hot. I'm going in and I'm going to press to give it definition, to give it dimension, and to kind of help the glass join itself. It's like one of the ways to make glass more sturdy and less prone to breaking is to heat it and get it to be one piece of glass. So as it comes out, it's part of the rod, so it's all one glass, but we're putting it on piece by piece. So we're kind of making it separate. What you want to do is you want to go back in really solidly and make sure that it all becomes one piece again. And that way it's together. You can take more shock. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to put little eyeballs. So when I do octopus sculpture, that's just for like the table or to be hung, I tend to do a different color eye than I do for the body. Like for instance, if I do a dark body, I'll do light eyes. And if I do a light body, I'll do darker eyes. Just for some contrast, just so that people can see it. For the earrings, though, I have found that it's such a small space that too much contrast doesn't really do anybody any favors. Okay, so there's little eyes on there. Now, for the fun parts. These are the legs. Okay. I'm going to go in and I'm going to heat where I'm going to put the leg and my rod. And go in and give them a little twisty leg. I'm going to do this, you guessed it, 8 times. They're so intelligent. They're so clever. Those like, that one octopus from the aquarium, I don't know, I have to look it up. I guess they kept escaping at night. They can just like get out of their cage and like do whatever they want. Like, okay, do I need to be, like, worried about octopus? Probably not, but it's still a funny thought. Just like, okay, well, I'm gonna get out of this cage, and I'm gonna go get more fish. Or I guess the story ended up being, it was like, they had been fed, like, rotten fish or something, or they weren't perfectly fresh, and so the octopus had come out and taken the fish and, like, tucked it at the scientist's desk or something wild like that. But that is definitely not a creature that I want to mess with. It's just so much fun to watch them. Alright, so now I have the first 4 legs on. So we're going to go back in and do the back side. I think it'd be neat to have an octopus. I've definitely thought about it. But like I said, they like get out of their enclosure. And then what? You know what I mean? Like, how long can they last outside of their enclosure? Do they go back? I don't know. All of that to say that I think, although it'd be neat to have an octopus, I don't know if I have the, like, energy, you know? Like, I gotta keep them all happy in their kennel or their cage, or they'll leave you. Can you imagine? Anyway. Alright. So, that was 5. This is 6. It definitely happens where I put the wrong number of legs on because I know it sounds silly, but lose count. So 2, 4, 6, 7. Oh, cool. I have one more little leg to put on. Alright, now I have all of the legs. Okay. And then take my little bit larger pair of pliers here, and I'm going to disconnect my handle from the head. I'm just going to take a second to kind of like heat up the very top of the head so that I can hide the fact that I had a flat space there for the handle. The goal is to get these sculptures and earrings to look as natural as possible, as organic as possible. Alright, there he is. And I'll be right back with the finished pair. Alright, and now we're back. The completed and cooled pair of octopus earrings. Ooh. Alright, thanks guys. Thanks for hanging out and watching me do this. I'm actually going to create a coupon code for my Etsy. Code BLUETUBE, BLUETUBE, for 20% off of a pair of cobalt blue earrings. Just enter that code in as you're checking out, and I will give you that discount. All right, thanks guys. Thanks for coming by, and I'll post more later.